An officer walked through the market and froze. There, tied to a post, was his missing canine partner, the same dog he thought was gone forever. But the worst part? A sign above his head. For sale. $1. What happened next shocked an entire town to its core. The morning was calm, the small-town market buzzing with life. Families strolled past stalls, children tugged at their parents' hands, and vendors shouted out their daily bargains. Everything seemed ordinary, until Officer Daniel froze in his tracks. His eyes locked on a sight that made his heart drop. There, tied cruelly to a wooden post with rough rope, stood a German Shepherd. But not just any dog. This was Rex, his missing canine partner, the one he had mourned for months. Above the dog's head, a cardboard sign fluttered in the breeze. For sale, $1. Daniel's chest tightened, his breath caught in his throat. Rex's once proud posture was gone. His fur looked dull, his body thinner, weaker, as if life had been drained from him. Yet those eyes, those familiar, loyal eyes, met his, and Daniel knew instantly. It was him, his partner, his best friend. Months earlier, the bond between Officer Daniel and Rex had been unshakable. They weren't just a handler and his dog. They were partners, brothers in arms. Together they had tracked criminals, found missing children, and earned the town's respect as an unstoppable team. But everything changed on one fateful night. A robbery call had turned into a dangerous chase. Sirens wailed, tires screeched, and shadows darted through back alleys. In the chaos, Rex leapt ahead, following a suspect into the darkness. By the time Daniel caught up, the alley was empty. No suspect, no Rex. For weeks, Daniel searched. Flyers were posted on every corner. Local news stations aired his pleas. Children drew pictures of Rex and taped them to the police station walls. But hope slowly faded. Some said the dog had been stolen, others whispered he hadn't survived. Daniel never stopped believing. Every night he left Rex's kennel open, waiting for the sound of familiar paws. But deep down, a painful truth gnawed at him. His partner was gone. And now, here he was, tied to a post, being sold like trash. Daniel's boots pounded against the pavement as he rushed toward the post. His eyes burned with disbelief and anger. The crowd parted slightly, sensing the storm in his steps. People stopped shopping, whispering as they noticed the police officer staring at the dog with trembling hands. A man in a worn jacket leaned lazily against the post. His face was smug, his arms crossed. "You interested in buying him?" he asked, nodding at the sign. $1, that's the deal. Daniel's fists clenched. His voice cracked with fury. "Where did you get this dog?" The man shrugged. "Does it matter? He's just a mutt. If you want him, pay up." Gasps rippled through the gathering crowd. Phones lifted into the air, recording every second. Daniel's jaw tightened. He wasn't just looking at a stranger's dog. He was staring at his lost partner, his family. And this man was treating him like garbage to be sold for spare change. The officer's heart hammered. Something inside him snapped. At first, Rex didn't move. His head hung low, his body trembling from exhaustion. The once mighty police dog looked like a shadow of his former self, weak, beaten down, almost broken. For a terrifying moment, Daniel wondered if Rex even remembered him. But then something changed. Rex's ears twitched, his eyes flicked upward, locking onto Daniel's face. A spark of recognition lit within them. His tail gave a faint, shaky wag. A whimper escaped his throat. Soft at first, then louder, desperate, filled with longing. "Rex," Daniel whispered, his voice breaking. The dog strained against the ropes, claws scraping the pavement, body jerking forward with all the strength he had left. The crowd fell silent, stunned as they watched the reunion unfold. Daniel dropped to his knees, tears streaming down his face. He reached out, cupping Rex's head in his hands. The dog pressed into his touch, whining, licking, trembling. It was undeniable now. This wasn't just a dog. This was his partner. The cellar shifted uneasily as the crowd closed in. Whispers of anger spread like wildfire. People weren't just watching anymore. They wanted answers. Daniel's voice was sharp, commanding. "Tell me where you got this, dog." The man smirked, but the bravado quickly cracked under the weight of dozens of eyes and recording phones. He glanced around, his jaw tight, then muttered, "Fine, you want the truth?" The market fell silent. "He wasn't mine," the man admitted. "A buddy of mine found him wandering weeks ago. Said the dog was worth money. We tried selling him, but no one wanted a half-starved mutt. So he ended up here. I'm just trying to get rid of him." Daniel's blood ran cold. Wandering? Beaten? Starved? His chest ached imagining the pain Rex had endured. "You stole him," Daniel growled. The man's eyes darted away. "Call it whatever you want. He's not your dog anymore." A ripple of outrage tore through the crowd. Mothers pulled their children closer, shaking their heads. Shoppers shouted in disgust. But Daniel didn't hear them. His focus was locked on Rex, his partner who had been through hell yet still fought to recognize him. Daniel's fists tightened. Every instinct screamed at him to arrest the man on the spot, to drag him away in handcuffs. But then, his eyes fell on Rex, shivering, weak, still tied to the post like a worthless object. Justice could wait. His partner could not. Slowly, Daniel reached into his wallet. The crowd gasped as he pulled out a single crumpled dollar. He held it out, his voice trembling with fury. "Here, now untie him." The seller scoffed but snatched the bill, slipping it into his pocket with a smirk. "Deal's a deal." Daniel didn't wait another second. He rushed forward, loosening the rough rope digging into Rex's skin. The moment the dog was free, he collapsed into Daniel's arms, burying his face against his chest. The crowd erupted, some cheering, others shouting at the seller in outrage. Phones captured every second, the story already spreading beyond the market walls. Daniel whispered into Rex's ear, his voice breaking, "You're safe now, buddy. No one will ever hurt you again." By the next morning, the story had spread like wildfire. The video of Daniel buying back his own canine for a single dollar was everywhere. On social media, on the news, and whispered in every corner of town. People were outraged. Parents shook their heads in disbelief. Shopkeepers posted signs that read, "Justice for Rex." School children drew pictures of the dog, taping them to the police station doors with words like, "Our hero" and "Welcome home." Donations poured in to cover Rex's medical care. The town vet offered free treatment, refusing to take a dime. Local businesses pledged support, and strangers sent letters of encouragement from miles away. The man who sold Rex disappeared under a wave of shame, but Daniel hardly noticed. All he cared about was the sight of his partner slowly regaining strength. For the first time in months, Daniel felt hope. He wasn't alone in this fight. His whole town now stood with him. Weeks passed, and Rex began to heal. His fur slowly regained its shine, his body filled out, and his once lifeless eyes grew bright again. But the scars, both seen and unseen, remained as silent reminders of what he had endured. Through it all, Daniel never left his side. He sat with Rex during treatments, whispered encouragement at night, and trained gently to remind him of who he was. Day by day, Rex's spirit returned. The bond they once had didn't just survive, it grew stronger. When Rex finally trotted into the police station again, the entire town gathered outside to welcome him. Children clapped, officers saluted, and families cheered as if a hero had come back from war. In many ways, he had. Daniel knelt beside his partner, pride swelling in his chest. "You're not just my dog," he whispered. "You're my brother. My hero." Rex barked once, loud and clear, as if answering back. The crowd erupted in applause, and though Daniel had paid only a single dollar to reclaim him, he knew the truth. What he got back that day was priceless. His partner, his protector, and his best friend.